All right, what's up, people? I figured I have a day off, the night off, and I figured I got to get rid of this fucking Dyer. We're gonna do 3 out of 3, the final third. Um, yeah, it's actually the final half of this fucking video, so this is probably gonna be long, depending on how much I interrupt this motherfucker. Um, Let me just say this: if I can summarize so far where we've been in this whole discussion, is that basically this guy bootstraps his own argument. So he's basically saying, you know, you need these certain things in order to use certain rules, and I have these things because I say I have these things. Total bootstrapping. It's kind of goofy, but hey, let's get back into it. Let's do 3 out of 3. I'm gonna let him talk more than I'm gonna talk, just because at this point it's getting goofy.
For anyone with a bit of a belly, this is pure relief. No more belt buckles digging into your stomach. Just hook one
ideologies that are operant within it, but also you can't find any specific place where these principles are. So how would we ground them if they're the logical structure of this universe itself? Well, it turns out in a theistic paradigm, you have the idea of divine conceptualism, that all the things that exist come from and are grounded in the divine mind. In other words, there is an omniscient, intentional.
This is one of those things where it's like you take one set of words and you translate them into another set of words, and you've added nothing to the fucking discussion. You've just hidden the fuck. It's like hide the monkey. Where's the monkey hiding? Oh no, he's over there. Oh no, hide him over here. Put him behind the box of cereal.
That's purposive, universal being who is personal, who created this world out of his own goodness, to then give other beings a share in.
Where did he pull all these Lucky Charms out of, dude? What are you talking about? You go from there being something that grounds reality into, well, he's got to be this and he's got to be that, and you never established any of it.
Being in life that being has. We call that God, but for us, this is the Orthodox Christian Trinitarian God, specifically this principle of logos or reasoning that pervades the universe is the second person of the Godhead,
even fucking
Jesus.
Now, on Trinity.
We're not going to focus on the Trinity.
That's a whole
in this
debate
topic.
In of itself.
We'll get to that in another
I've already
analysis video. I also have another analysis video where I went into a lot of depth about this. But right now we're just sort of focusing on the logical and the philosophical elements of this and what these things point to.
Hold on. Was that a cameraman shift? Does he have a cameraman? He is a cameraman, because that was a cameraman shift.
If you look at a book that taps into a lot of mathematicians' ideas and physicists' ideas, written by a guy named Paul Davies, I recommend this book, The Mind of God, because...
Really? I have that book. I have the original one. That's a reprint. I have the original one. Yeah, Paul Davies. He's a physics communicator, popularist. He's written many books. I would take Paul Davies with a grain of salt, bro, if I was you. Dude, if we were back in like 1990, let's say we were back in like 1996, and you pulled up Paul Davies, I'd be like, cool. It's 2026, bro. His ideas have aged, like, I don't know, a box of chocolates.
What he points out is that, the universe, it exemplifies all these principles, not just logical, philosophical principles, but also these ideas like mathematics and numbers and geometry and form and shape and, even things like design, perhaps. But how do we know that, and how would we ground that? Well, he makes an argument that
it's ironic that he, as a Christian, is using Paul Davies as a crutch. And the reason I say that is because that when Paul Davies was first introduced to me, it was when I was a Christian, and somebody that was an atheist used his book. I forget what it was called. Not The Mind of God. It was his first book. And I still have it. I'm not going over to my bookshelf and look it up. But it had something to do with God. And basically it was dismissive. So I find it ironic that Jay Dyer is actually using this guy as a crutch.
Mathematicians have even discovered things like Mandelbrot sets, which point to something beyond merely the physical, namely because the mathematics of Mandelbrot sets are so fantastical and so almost infinite that you can zoom in, and the only way that we knew this was when we had computers that were able to zoom in to these really high degrees. So if you look up Mandelbrot sets, you'll notice, for example, that you can zoom in to extremely high levels of depth. But we needed computers with the processing power to actually see that. And these mathematical structures demonstrate regular patterns which are not the product of human minds. So what this means is that mathematics clearly is not something created by the human mind, but it's something discovered.
I found it.
And that's a key point in the book. That
I found it. The book that he wrote prior, I don't actually have The Mind of God, but I have his first two books. And his first book is called God and the New Physics. And then he wrote Superforce, which I think kind of sucked. But the point being, those were his two books. And then The Mind of God, I think, was his third. I mean, this guy wrote a lot of books. I just find it ironic that Jay Dyer, an Orthodox super Christian, is quoting Paul Davies, a science communicator who basically, I don't want to say he shit cans Christianity, but he basically shit cans Christianity.
I think he cites Roger Penrose, noting that he realized when he got deep into mathematics that it's not a...
See, this is the problem when you start quoting a bunch of people. You're quoting Paul Davies, you're quoting Roger Penrose. These people do not agree with you, buddy. Matter of fact, they disagree with you like 99%. So I don't know why you're quoting them. I don't know why you need to quote anybody. Just make your arguments, bro.
Human creation, it's a human discovery. That's a very big, huge gap, because a lot of atheist materials would say numbers, mathematics, that's things that humans just create. Well, it's more so like physics or something where you discover something, not something that you arbitrarily create. Because there's rules and patterns that go beyond the finitude of the human mind. And that's why Mandelbrot sets are such a strong example of something like this, and really point beyond the mere particular or the mere finite human mind and the limited human experience that can't even conceive of all the infinite sort of variations of the patterns within a Mandelbrot set.
Okay, you keep hearing this guy say Mandelbrot set. So what is he talking about? This is basically mapping a complex function onto a geometric axis. Or axes, proper, I guess you would say, is multiple. And yeah, there is a distribution, and it is infinitely recursive. This is where we get the name fractal from. That's when he says Mandelbrot said, he's talking about fractals and infinite recursivity. I don't think it's proving the God he thinks it is. I use this argument, but I don't think he can as a Christian. It would make no sense to him. Because then there wouldn't be three persons in the Trinity. There would be, well, never mind. We don't, this guy wants to talk mathematics. He doesn't really want to talk mathematics. It doesn't work out well for his, whole worldview.
You see that crow? Yeah, that ain't just a bird. That's the sound you make when you're done explaining yourself.
That's the gayest hat I've ever seen.
Well, what that's suggesting is that our world has an imprinting, an information code behind it, and we now know that, for example, from DNA, that the very depths of our being are encoded with information. In fact, there's even theories that light itself in the world encodes information. That means that if you look at a discipline like
this guy, I mean, look, I like the fact that he's intelligent. I really do. I also don't like the fact that he's intelligent because he's being very, how should I put this, deceptive in a lot of the things that he says. So yes, light does transmit information. It has to. That's just definitional. If do you know physics? I don't know. Because you throw around these big words like you know what you're talking about. And it's like you're not proving what you think you're proving. And all of this is supposed to go towards a God, right? A God, the God, the one God. Or is it three? I don't know. You tell me. Because you know it all. You get to define what are the rules of logic. You get to define what are the rules of mathematics. It's you. It's always going to be you. The sooner you recognize that and stop thinking that, oh, I get it all from God. Do you? What about that kid around the corner that doesn't believe what you believe? He gets it from God too. Who's to say you're right and he's wrong? You?
Information science, for example,
I don't know.
in that discipline, there's never a situation where there's meaningful information without a meaningful informer or a meaningful mind. And so the nature of reality itself, the nature of DNA itself, our nature.
You ever remember that game that kids used to play? I think I might have played it once or twice, but it was always considered more of a girl game. It was called hopscotch. And you would like throw something and then would hit a number and then you had to like jump and like 1 foot, 2 foot and all this dumb shit, right? Just these little fucking like, yeah, you got to play by, you got to do this thing right here. You ever notice how this dude is just bootstrapping himself the whole time? It's like he's just making it up as he goes along. It's like, and then we need to fucking, and then he goes through like 26 steps and then he's like, ergo, I'm correct. And I'm like, no, ergo, you're just talking yourself into a fucking corner. You're plot holing yourself, man. You're bootstrapping yourself. If you don't think we don't see, I see it. I can't say what your audience sees. I don't know what the fuck they see. I see it. You're bootstrapping yourself. You're basically like, let me prove why my proof of my proof of my proof of my proof is correct. And I'm like, dude, I lost count of proofs. How many was that? 5 proofs? I don't. It's like, are they in sequence? Are they in order? Are they nested? What are they doing? Are they playing around? They having kids?
Sure.
Who knows?
Suggests a very high level, almost like a computer program. But I want to be careful there because I'm not saying that we live in a simulation or I'm not believing sim theory. I'm simply saying that there's a close analogy between.
Okay, so this is a common tactic that you will use in a debate. It's a deflationary tactic where it's basically like, I'm saying the dumbest shit of all time, but I'm going to point out something a little bit dumber, and then I'm going to make you make fun of that. You're going to laugh at that. No, I'm not saying it's simulation. That's fucking stupid shit, right? But meanwhile, he's basically arguing for a simulation theory, just under a different name. So, like, they play games with you with this bullshit, man. Trust me.
The
Everybody
way that a
says this guy's
computer
a good
works,
debater. I'm not
or a
entirely
virtual
sure
world
that would be
works,
the case.
to how our world is structured. And just like all the complexity of a virtual world, if you think about it, it has a designer, human designer behind it. It mirrors the complexity, the information coding and structure of our world. Thus, it has a divine mind as its designer, coder, creator, purpose, and end.
Okay. The fun part of this whole argument is when you grant the point. You're like, okay, sure. Now can we look at the world? And if your argument is that the world is proof of God, the obvious question is, it's proof of God, sure. Which one? And I can guarantee you this, it's not your God, buddy. Do we want to look at the world? Do we really want to look at it? See how it operates? See the rules? Oh, you can blame it on a tree and a snake, right? That's your fucking, that's where you come from, right? Oh, it's a tree and a snake, man. Otherwise, everything would have been perfect. Yep. God was defeated by a tree and a snake, dog.
Or telos, his purpose at the end, its end goal.
You can
And
sound
so
as smart as
that
you want.
principle, if
You're
it's
coming
true,
back
I
to
grant
that God
many of you are going
tripped
to say,
on
"Oh,
a
it's
tree
not
and
true.
a
That doesn't
snake.
prove anything. We
Dude.
don't know that." Well, if it
What's your
is,
belief system,
it
bro?
does give an account for, it does make sense of our world and how it works, and how we can have meaning, how we can have science, how we can have.
Hold on, wait a minute. I thought this dude couldn't be any more serious, and he started getting more serious. How do you think we have all of the cool shit we have? Well, I know it's not because of a snake in a tree, right? Isn't that your religion believes? Okay, never mind. Snake in trees, like this fucking. Come on, man. Well, it wasn't a snake in a tree, or was it? Was the snake actually in the tree, or was it on the ground? Because remember, it hadn't been cursed yet. So God cursed it to run on his belly like it had like be a snake now. But before that, what was it? A dragon? I don't know. You tell me, man. It's your comic book, bro. You tell me.
Logic, how we can have math, how we can have ethics, in a world where none of
Yeah, because we know that the Bible is really good at math. It gets pi exactly at 3, which is where it's supposed to be. It's a divine number of 3. Except every other society on planet Earth at that time had a better approximation for pi. Normally 22/7 is the number given, but there's a better one that most people don't know about. But whatever. Who cares, right? We're talking God here, man. God makes the rules. God can be stupid. God can promote slavery. I mean, it's all good, man. It's God.
that exists, those principles and those philosophical things also kind of disappear. And so this is, in short,
I know, right?
a roundabout kind of introductory idea to different ways that you can tweak.
You notice how the more smart a motherfucker sounds, when you listen to what the motherfucker's really saying, you're like, man, this is the dumbest motherfucker I've ever heard saying shit. What the fuck is this guy even trying to do? In his entire video, this is part 3 of 3, and I'm not going to make a part 4, and I'm probably not going to finish watching his shit. I don't know. Because he's not really saying anything. He's bootstrapping himself. He's basically giving himself a leg up in the argument. And he's like, hey, look, man, you know, the rules are this. And I'm like, where do the rules come from? Well, the rules are the rules. I'm like, yeah, according to who? Yeah, according to me. So, like, I'm making the rules. So I get to jump through the hoops. You don't. You have to run around the corner. I'm like, dude, why am I running around the corner? What are you doing? You're not even playing fair. And, well, I mean, you could say you're playing fair, but you're playing stupid. Like, come on, man. Let's go.
The transcendental argument for God. It points to other things, or pretty much kind of anything. You can actually make the transcendental argument.
What's funny is if you look back to my first video on this guy, like part 1, the first thing I did was, before I watched this video at all, is that I basically steelmanned the tag argument. And I think in my steelman, which was like, 5 seconds it took me to do it, I think I did a better job defending it than you have in this entire 24-minute video.
In a roundabout way, using any kind of thing.
I don't think you're
Another
being
interesting book that
intelligent
points
at
in
all.
this direction is Quadrivium. And the book talks about how nature itself and reasoning itself doesn't just assume things like logic. It also assumes things like the first 10 digits. And in our Arabic numeral system, we base all of the other digits right on the first 10, right? So
This guy, dude, I can't believe I even have to fucking do this. The base number that you use in mathematics is a choice. We settled on base 10 because that's how many fucking fingers we have. That's why. What do computers use? Oh yeah, they use binary. That's ones and zeros, buddy. Ones and zeros. So there is no assumption of 10 numerals. This is why you're backwards in your analysis. You don't get shit proper. It's not like the number 10 is somehow mystically connected. No, it's just the number of fucking fingers we have, dog. That's that simple. But you want to make it into some kind of metaphysical, like, oh, this is some kind of proof of God. What? You have 10 fingers. Whatever.
Every digit is some variation on the first 10 digits. And this book argues that there's a kind of almost sacred number geometry. And I'm not trying to get too woo-woo here because I don't mean it in a New Age sense, but I mean it in a sense of like classical geometry. Up, if you think about things like
I'm not telling you
unity,
what to say. Not
or what the philosophers called the monad, and then you think about how you get from the one through counting by division, duality, that's 2. And then out of that, you get another division of the triad, or 3. And then out of this, you get eventually the tetractys, or the first 10 integers, or mathematical.
I'm at a loss for words here. I think I'm probably going to stop it here. This is going to go on for way too long. This guy's devolving into some numerology. And like, yeah, okay, yeah, 1, and then 2, and then 3. Oh, wow. Little Timmy discovered math today. Like, what the fuck is going on here? But if you add 1 plus 2 plus 3, you get 6. And then if you add the magic number 4, you get 10. And then when you have 10, little Timmy, then you have all the fingers on your hand, and then you can count to God. This is how retarded this guy sounds, and I'm just cutting this off right now. This is Oversville, Dunsville. I can't believe that somebody said this guy was smarter than me. I'll give him smart, but smarter than me? Fuck out of here, dude. This guy's a crackpot. Talking about, like, he's holding up a book. Look, you're going to hold a book up to the screen. 1, 2, 3? Really? You're going to flip pages. Lord Jesus Christ. Are you serious? You're how old are you again? You're going to hold up a book and then you're going to say 1. Then you're going to hold the same book up. You're going to flip the page. 2, 3, and then when you add the magic 4, what do you get? You get 10, which is I'm not saying it's a magic number, but it's a magic number. Listen to this motherfucker. This guy, we're supposed to take this guy seriously? I mean, I don't know. I don't take him seriously. I think it's kind of silly. I don't even know how seriously, because I know he's smart, so it's like he's got to be a little bit. Is he making fun of himself? Is he basically playing a character, like a Stephen Colbert on the Colbert Report? And then now you know who that guy is. He's far left, but he was playing Bill O'Reilly, basically. You know, on the far right. Is this guy playing a character? Is he a Christian character? I mean, I don't fucking know. It seems kind of silly to me. But, yeah. We're going to leave it here. I know there's still a little bit left on it, but he's getting into the, like, count your fingers, count your toes. We're getting into fucking Sesame Street shit. It's like Oscar the Grouch is going to pop out of a trash can. And really, I'm not there for that. So, Jay Dyer, 3 out of 3. It's been fun, bro. I'm open to debate. I'll debate you anytime. Preferred topic, the Trinity. I will destroy you on that one. We could do anything. We could do Christianity in general. Anywho, have fun, buddy. Happy Easter, whenever the fuck that happens.